Was Muhammad a descendant of Ishmael? Muslim narrators fabricated stories to support the claims of the Quran and Muhammad. In particular, later in the 7th and the 8th century AD, several Muslim narrators started to fabricate stories, genealogies, and assertions to support the Quran and Muhammad. These fabricated stories became the foundations for what Muslims believe today. These narrators have been shown to be unreliable. For example, when Ibn Ishaq created his genealogy, he was attacked by the scholars of his day as, quote-unquote, creating false genealogies. Several genealogies were created to link Muhammad to Ishmael by narrators such as Ibn Ishaq and others. The problem, all of these contradicted each other. Arabic scholars confess the absence of references in pre-Islamic Arabia that connects Arabs to Shem, son of Noah. Ibn Ishaq listed 40 ancestors in his fabricated genealogy. However, these 40 ancestors were not sufficient to cover the period between Muhammad and Abraham. It was short for over 700 years. They also inserted Arabic names from their time into these genealogies, into even ancient times, during Noah time, during Abraham time, and so on and so forth. These narrators claim that Ishmael married a woman from Mecca. They claimed that Mecca existed during the times of Abraham. In fact, some claim that Mecca existed at the time of Noah. They invented Arabic names for her and her father. Ibn Abbas and Ibn Ishaq had actually different names for her. The Arabic styles of these names reflected the Arabic styles and the language of their time. Furthermore, they had fabrications about the Amalekites. They inserted the Amalekites, who were descended of Esau, the son of Isaac, and became extant in the 10th century BC, into the genealogy that links Muhammad to Ishmael. They claimed that Amalekites actually lived in Mecca. Ibn Abbas even claimed that Amalekites were Himyarites in Yemen. However, the Himyarites did not exist before the 2nd century BC. And if these lived during Abraham time, they returned back to the 21st century BC. He also claimed that Allah drove them out of Mecca, back to Yemen. These narrators also claimed that ancient Egyptians, the pharaohs, were descendant of these Amalekites. There are more fabrications. For example, they claim that a tribe called Jarham lived in Mecca during Abraham time. They inserted them in these genealogies. However, there is no evidence for such tribe. They claim that the original name of Jarham is Hadram, a name fabricated by Ibn al-Kalbi. He claimed that Jarham were older and more important than the Sabaeans and the Himyarites. Ibn al-Kalbi also claimed that Jarham was the grandson of Saba. However, Sabians appeared about the 11th century BC only, and yet they claimed that Jarham lived during the Ishmael time, 21st century BC. They claimed that Jarham ruled Yemen and Al-Hijaz, yet none of the Yemeni and Hijazi inscriptions contain any single reference to Jarham. Ibn Abbas claimed that Jarham came originally from Damascus to Mecca. They fabricated a poem and attributed it to Jarham. However, the poem utilized the form and styles of later Arabic language. In fact, many poems were fabricated, but can be safely placed in later Islamic era, according to prominent Islamic scholars. The Islamic claims about Adnan and Qahtan. Muslims narrator divided Arabs into two groups. One group called Qahtan, and the other is Adnan. They claimed that Arabs from Yemen were descendant of Qahtan, while those from Hijaz and northern Arabia were descendant from Adnan. This division is fabricated. The name Adnan is a mythical name, fabricated by later Muslim narrators. Adnan was never mentioned by any Arabic inscriptions before their time. Qahtanites were never mentioned in any of the Yemeni inscriptions, despite the fact that we have a wealth of Yemeni inscriptions and the fact that Yemenis, according to Islamic claim, they were descendants of Qahtan. The late Islamic genealogies that connected Adnan to Ishmaelites were all contradictory. Ibn Sa'd, the author of Tabaqat, the Islamic historian, stated that they had no record or info after the death of Ma'd, which is supposedly the son of Adnan. The division or these names were not found in the Quran or the Hadith of Muhammad. It's very significant that the claim that Muhammad was a descendant of Ishmael, that claim is against history, against archaeology, against the accounts of the Bible. This concludes our series about whether or not Muhammad was the descendant of Ishmael. This is Daniel Amari from the Religion Research Institute.